Happy Friday, everyone. I just got done working out and I was like, let me just record a video because I've been having this problem recently where I'm like, I want to share more videos. I want to make more content. I love creating videos and sharing things. But then I'm tripping myself up with thinking, oh, it has to be a certain theme. It has to be, I have to look this way. I have to sit in this certain room. I have to have this lighting. And basically that is just procrastinating, sharing, and doing something. I'm usually not a procrastinator, but it's been a transitional time for me this past year with a lot of different things going on, a lot of change. So I've been dealing with that. And I thought, I'm just gonna start recording videos whenever and just sharing them and kind of just sharing what's going on, top of mind thoughts, and just grow from there. So that's what I'm doing today. And I thought it would be a good day to talk about change and feeling strange, which I'm laughing because my sister and I were texting this morning and I sent her this meme about the full moon. And most of you, have probably heard that the full moon, many people believe, and I believe it, can affect your mood and make you feel different or just strange. And we were talking about feeling strange, and I texted her and I said, yeah, I don't think it's the full moon that's making me feel strange because I've felt strange for over a year now. And a big part of that is all of the change and new things that have come into my life. So I wanted to talk about this because I have always been a person that is doing something new, trying something new, just mixing in different things in my life. There's a lot of core things that have always remained throughout my life, like marketing. Since I was 20, I've done marketing for different brands and I still do it. I did it throughout my time at CCC and I'm doing even more of it now. It's just something that is core to my skill set and it's what my degree was in. But there's always things that are changing with me because I like to make decisions that I know are best for me. I like to make them as soon as I know this is what I need to do. So a lot of thought goes into it, but it's like when I know, and I am making that decision, ripping the Band-Aid off as soon as possible to just avoid any delay, because life is short. So because of that, I'm pretty used to change, but this past year has been huge. I own Cultivated Candle Co. for over 5 years. It was my life. I had other things going on, but when you own a business, and especially, it applies to all businesses, but I do really feel, especially when it's a maker business, where you are not only making the products, but managing the brand. Obviously, when you're a business owner, you're wearing many different hats, but there really is something about making products that adds in this whole other element to running a business. So it was my life, Cultivated Candle Co. was, and many of you know, I came to the realization last year that, it just wasn't right for me to be making candles. It was taking up so much of my time when I was interested in doing many other things that I am naturally talented at and interested in, like entertainment. So I made that decision. It was a really, really tough one. It also came at the tail end of being really burnt out from running that specific business. But it was a tough decision and a lot of change has happened and I kind of went through this process with change. I'm still going through it. And I thought it might be helpful or at least interesting to chat through it. I talk about it with Jer all the time and I talk about it with some of my friends and family, but man, I'm like tearing up. I guess this is what happens when you do an unscripted video. It's hard to talk about because it's overwhelming. It's just so different and there's a lot going on with making that big of a change, and many of you who have made changes that have really, really impacted your life, whether it was career or relationship or just really whatever it was from a lifestyle standpoint, you probably know this. For me this summer, it was a period of, I kept the business open for 4 months after we announced the closure to make sure that people could still order candles from us. The thing about closing CCC was it wasn't a business that didn't have a loyal following. We had a really, really strong loyal following, and most of you are still here from that, which makes me so happy that we can just continue being connected even though CCC is done. But because of that, the business was closing, and I knew that so many people were going to be sad that we were closing. So I wanted to make sure that there was time for everybody to order, to stock up as much as possible, and, offering the fall collection, all that stuff. So the summer was a weird time for me because I was really, really busy, so busy, way more busy than the months prior, just because everybody's stocking up, of fulfilling orders, but then still going through the process of CCC is really not my life anymore. This is kind of the end of it. And kind of starting to feel the weirdness then. And then in August or September, we were done fulfilling orders. And that's when it became time. Really, I could dedicate time to applying to entertainment jobs and also getting a website up, starting to make content. And luckily, when I started applying to things, I do have background in entertainment. I was able to start getting things pretty quickly. And I think as of today, I've been able to work in, I think it's over 10 now, different productions of different sizes, getting to, do shorts where I have a bigger role, be an extra in a film with a pretty big celebrity, getting to do commercials, which has been one of my favorite things. And within all of those, I would say for around half of them, starting to make an income from them, which is more than I ever could have wished for when making the transition, and to have within the first 6 months of doing so. So it's been really incredible. But at the same time, it's change and it's different, and I don't have a daily routine. I do not have a daily routine. And I shared over the summer, I think it was, I wrote out what I wanted my daily routine to be. And that has been a struggle bus. I can tell you straight up, that has not been happening. And it's something that I'm working towards, but just going through all of the change and then being tired from a lot of it, because new things make us tired. I have felt like I needed more sleep, and I'm getting more sleep now anyways, which I needed. That schedule, it's been a struggle. And so across doing entertainment and then also marketing for other businesses and Jer's company, I have a full plate of things to do, but I don't have a schedule. So that has been really weird, and I've been working towards getting a set schedule down. So I know for me, in terms of this change and transitional time, working towards that schedule is really, really helpful. So I'm sharing that in case that's helpful to someone else who's made a big change in their life. When you make big changes, and there's a lot of psychologists and also just speakers in general who talk about this, you make a big change and it's amazing and it's exciting, but before you get to that next phase of it feeling good and normal, there is a time when it feels very dry, very uncomfortable. It doesn't feel great. Even though everything that's going on is exciting and moving you in the right direction, it doesn't feel steady, I guess. And that's been something that I have been learning too, because I've always made changes, like I mentioned earlier, but this is one of the biggest ones, just because when I've made changes in the past, there has been somewhat of a structure to it. This, I completely manage all of my own time. I can do whatever I want to do. So I have all of this freedom, but I have all of this freedom under myself and in my own mind to do whatever I want to do, which is a whole situation in itself. It's pretty overwhelming. So I've been balancing structuring my own things with different projects and tasks that come into me from other people that I work for or with Jer's business. So just keeping that top of mind for myself or anyone else that is going through change is, it's going to feel weird when you make a change. You know, it's just, it feels weird, like weird, strange. And, going back to what I mentioned earlier, when people ask you, oh, what have you been up to? When you are doing so many different things or you're in a transitional period, it's hard to answer that question, and that's okay. It's just life. And especially when you're making a change for the better, just know, like, you're on the right track. It's gonna be okay. It's okay to feel weird. I have to remind myself that sometimes. It's okay to feel weird. Like, in general, it happens. It's life. You're making this big change. So yeah, I'll have to watch this back and see if what I just said makes sense. I just rambled on. I need to get a drink of water or something. And I think something that always keeps me steady among change is keeping healthy habits, like eating well and working out, because even on days when I am feeling frustrated because I feel like I haven't done what I was supposed to do that day, even though what I was supposed to do is unwritten, basically, you know, staying healthy has just helped me be like, okay, well, if I feel like the rest of the day was weird, even though it's usually not, once again, it's just in my mind. If the rest of the day was weird, at least I remained in my healthy habits, which is something I'm doing for the long term, as like a long-term goal. I choose to be healthy now, so I can have that as a lifestyle and remain healthy for many, many years. Longevity is really important to me, and also avoiding chronic disease is really important to me. So healthy habits have helped me stay stable to a point too. Working out, eating well, avoiding certain things that, you know I'm wanting to cut back on or change, that all really helps. So I guess talking about from like a stability standpoint, there's some stability there, and that's something that's been simple. But I guess I'll close with saying that although I feel weird and strange, I have accepted, that's how I'm gonna feel. Some days are better than others. There's tons of highs and lows. And I've been experiencing that since when I owned a business. If anyone is a business owner or is doing something really on their own, you understand the serious highs and lows of that, because you don't have anyone overlooking you on that business or that project or whatever it is. It's all in your mind in terms of how you perceive it to be going. And that is a wonky area, because what we tell ourselves isn't always the truth or, what's actually going on. It's just how we're perceiving it. So I would say too, if someone else is going through a big change or just managing a new project or their own time, finding different reads on perception and changing your perception and your mindset is so helpful. That's a big reason why I read every single morning. And I find on days when I am feeling the lowest, the chapters on perception and mindset, it's not like, just be happy. There are different psychology books and classics that I read that talk about the power of perception and how you are viewing what's going on in your life. And I realized, because this past year I've had some of the lowest lows in terms of how I feel that I've ever had in my life, I've realized on my really good days, like, wait, this honestly is not that different than that really bad day that I had, but it was just how I was perceiving it. So that's really helpful too. And at this point, I completely forget where I was going with this. Hold on, give me a second. I tend to get off topic or just like carry on to the next thing sometimes. So making this style of video is interesting. So I actually did go back and watch just to know where I was going, and I didn't go that off track. See, this is what I'm saying about perception. I was perceiving myself to really go off track, but I wasn't. But I will go back to, closing it with saying that understanding and just being aware that, oh yeah, Colleen, you've never made a change this big before in your life. So it's natural for you to feel weird and not feel great every day, even though you're moving in the right direction and you have all of these amazing opportunities around you. It's okay to feel that way some days, because that's just how it is when it comes to change. So I think just being aware of that and really understanding how perception works and sticking to healthy habits from a physical, mental, and emotional standpoint, and also just making sure I'm prioritizing time with friends and family has helped me keep moving forward, keep moving through it. So I guess that's what today's chat was about. Like I said, I calling myself out on my own shit of being like, oh, this video, if I would produce a video, it has to be perfect and it has to be in this spot. Calling myself out on that. I'm just gonna start sharing more random chats where I kind of sit down wherever, turn the camera on, and kind of roll with it of what I'm going to talk about and still add some value at the same time. So thank you guys for watching this, listening to me ramble on, and I hope everybody has a great weekend. And I'm excited to share more of these videos with you because it's kind of like the stories format that so many of us got connected on, the stories that I would do for CCC, because it's more casual. So I hope it resonates too. Let me know. I hope it's helpful. Have a great weekend. I'm repeating literally everything that I just said. Okay, bye.